Donald Trump is officially on a retribution tour against individuals who he thinks wronged him. First up, Letitia James, the New York Attorney General. According to ABC News reporting, Donald Trump is expected to fire the current U.S. Attorney in the Eastern District of Virginia. And the reason may not be what you think. Trump is expected to fire U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert after he resisted pressure from the President of the United States, along with other Trump officials, to pursue criminal charges against Letitia James for alleged mortgage fraud, despite the fact that investigators have found no clear evidence of wrongdoing, a move that critics warn underscores Trump's use of the Justice Department to retaliate against political adversaries, especially given the fact that Letitia James pursued a massive civil fraud case against him. And Eric Siebert, the current U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, will be fired today, probably. Today will be his last day. Donald Trump and his allies are currently pressuring the Justice Department to pursue criminal charges against his enemies. Letitia James is obviously at the top of the list because she pursued a civil fraud case that resulted in a massive legal judgment, not just against Trump, but also against his family members and against the Trump organization. Now, most of that judgment is currently essentially on pause and has been thrown out by a New York appellate court for it being excessive. But that hasn't changed the fact that the Trump organization has still been held liable for civil fraud. And what's stunning here is that the Justice Department has traditionally and historically, although been part of the executive branch, has been a kind of semi-independent part of the executive branch. The Attorney General was not the president's personal attorney. In this case, he obviously wants that. The President of the United States is pressuring top officials to pursue a criminal indictment against a political opponent, and if they can't find evidence, then he's going to fire them. And to put that into perspective, what he's essentially asking for is for them to manufacture an indictment against Letitia James. To secure an indictment, it's not that hard. Let's just put it that way. There is a common phrase, prosecutors can indict a ham sandwich. Why? Because it's all you need is probable cause that a crime was committed. You go in front of a grand jury of about 20 folks, everyday people, see the evidence, sign off on a true bill indictment, and there you have criminal charges right there. Defense cannot present evidence. Most of the time, defense attorneys don't even know that a grand jury is considering an indictment. But what we've seen over the past several months is that this administration has found it difficult to secure indictments because they're going after criminal charges that cannot be proven. We've seen it in Washington, D.C., where Jeanine Pirro, the U.S. attorney, has been unable to secure indictments against multiple individuals for felony charges related to protesting the National Guard. And now we're seeing it here in Virginia. Now, the U.S. attorney hasn't presented any evidence to a grand jury to ask for an indictment just yet based on reporting. But the fact that Trump is asking the U.S. attorney to manufacture this case against Letitia James spells a major warning for folks across the country, because if he can do that in Virginia, well, he can do that anywhere. Now, we'll see what happens next, but obviously it's a very concerning moment for American history as the Justice Department is about to be weaponized against one of Donald Trump's top political opponents. And right now, we need media more important than ever that will stand up to this White House and pursue the truth, even in the face of them trying to silence us. And that's what I'll do. So make sure to subscribe to support my work. Now, Donald Trump's FCC chairman, Brendan Carr, who authored the chapter on Project 2025 and was praised as a, quote, warrior of free speech. Well, he's now saying we're not done yet. After successfully deplatforming Jimmy Kimmel's late night show, he is now targeting The View. He's now targeting other late night hosts. They're not done yet. And the suspension has drawn sharp backlash from comedy hosts from Jon Stewart to Stephen Colbert, whose own show has been canceled, and Jimmy Fallon, all of whom have mocked the administration and denounced the move as censorship. This was a concern echoed by everyone from former President Barack Obama to David Letterman and others. And while executives are stressing at Disney that the pause was to just lower the temperature, and they hope to bring Kimmel back before his contract expires in 2026, it's unclear whether or not Kimmel will want to come back after he has been successfully deplatformed by a network that theoretically should uphold free speech rights. And now, and this is all being done, by the way, in the name of Charlie Kirk, because this happened following the assassination of Kirk. And according to The Guardian, a growing network of US-based neo-Nazi active clubs is currently exploiting the assassination of Kirk to recruit new members, framing his death as proof of anti-white suppression and urging white men to, quote, fight back. Analysts are warning that these loosely organized fight clubs are tied to violent extremism and have already spread across 27 countries across the globe. They're actively leveraging Kirk's killing alongside other tragedies to glorify violence and expand one of today's most dangerous far-right movements. Now, in other news, a CDC advisory panel has recommended restricting the combined measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella vaccine for children under the age of 4 due to a small but known risk of febrile seizures, advising instead the use of separate shots at younger ages. This is the first major vaccine shift for the childhood vaccination schedule under RFK Jr. Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orban announced that his government will designate Antifa a terrorist organization, mirroring the move by Donald Trump. But Antifa is a decentralized group without a leader, so it's unclear exactly who they are going to designate a terrorist organization because it's literally a decentralized movement. And yesterday, the United States Senate, under new Republican rules that invoked the nuclear option, confirmed 48 of Donald Trump's nominees in a single vote to speed up approvals. Those approved include Jonathan Morrison, the new head of the National Highway Traffic Safety Association, and Kimberly Guilfoyle, Donald Trump Jr.'s former girlfriend and ambassador to Greece. Meanwhile, according to The Guardian, U.S. law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, CBP, and NYPD, have circulated internal reports claiming that certain emojis, such as trains, ninjas, swords, aliens, and even strawberries, could signal affiliation with the Tren de Aragua gang. At least 70 people, including 11 New York elected officials, were arrested after staging protests inside and outside the Jacob K. Javits Federal Building in Manhattan, demanding access to an ICE intake facility. Republicans in Congress are moving to roll back key protections against PFAS, the toxic forever chemicals widely used in U.S. military firefighting foam that have contaminated water supplies near hundreds of bases. Eleanor Holmes Norton, the Washington, D.C.'s 88-year-old longtime House delegate, is facing a primary challenge from City Council member Robert White. And finally, in her forthcoming campaign memoir, 107 Days, Kamala Harris reveals deep frustrations with Joe Biden during the 2024 election, describing herself as, quote, angry and disappointed after he called her hours before her debate with Trump to warn of a Philadelphia power broker allegedly refusing to support her and criticizing his frailty, verbal stumbles, and failure to champion her accomplishments. Folks, that's all the news right now. I'll be back this evening with more, so subscribe to support. I'll see you soon. Hey folks, Aaron Parnas here. Thank you so much for watching The Parnas Perspective. Please consider subscribing to support our work as we grow this independent news media entity into something that rivals mainstream every single day. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon.